Okay. So how did you find it? We'll go with Srikanth first because he completed first. He picked first. Yes, Srikanth.
I just used some few minutes for each
Okay, that's
competency.
okay.
Okay.
That's all that you need to know.
Okay. From my perspective, most of the people, I think they are not giving answers openly. Okay, they are something hiding or not giving a direct answer. Rather, something is cooking, something happening, something working, something like that. They are answering. That's my observation.
Right. Okay. And great. That's correct. It's all shades of gray. It's never black and white. Okay.
Yeah.
That's one observation. What about now? You as an investor, you become better only when you can identify which shade of gray is acceptable and which shade of gray is well left. So, which of them is acceptable to you, and which of them is a strict no-no among the three? Which one was the most hiding sort of con call? Who gave the most hidden
No.
answers, or
Okay.
who had the most defensive
Okay.
approach?
Okay. See, most defensive is TCS from my perspective.
Okay,
Okay, the way they're answering. And I think HCL somewhat, I overall, I think HCL is better, I guess. That's what I'm feeling.
okay, fair enough. So, so if we go the straight way, you will be like, okay, in TCS, I'm not sure about totally, but what I'm sure about is HCL, right?
Yeah,
Right.
correct.
So let's look at both the answers from everyone. Okay. Thank you,
Mhm,
Shikha.
mhm.
Okay. Moving on to Pranay. Keeping next.
Okay, so
You gave
Infosys,
your own answer. Don't worry about who
yeah.
said what.
So looking at Infosys and TCS also,
Mhm.
what I was saying that they were not giving their answers, means they were hiding something. Means there was some, what we can say.
Correct.
There was
Okay.
what were they saying before,
Okay.
while answering?
Okay.
What we can say that uh, they were not going giving answer. There was some uh, what we can say. There is means they were not giving.
They were trying to hide something.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's
That's
say.
what.
But
And it,
but it was clear that HCL was the most clear of the lot.
yes, they were giving whatever questions were asked. They were giving it. Means there was some confidence in that. I think they were giving it.
Right. Okay. And which among TCS and Infosys would you rate the worst?
Infosys.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you, Pranay. Okay. Moving on to Hiran. थैंक यू. आप बताओ कौन सबसे ओपन था कौन नहीं था.
हाँ, तो मैंने ट्राई किया मैं तीनों में सेम टाइप के क्वेश्चन सुनूं. एचआर रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन मैं सुन रही थी, हायरिंग रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन सुन रही थी, तो उसमें एचसीएल ने प्रॉपरली जो क्वेश्चन पूछे गए थे, यानी कि डिफरेंशिएट करके क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल हायरिंग और फ्रेशर से रिलेटेड पूछा था, तो उन्होंने प्रॉपरली दोनों के लिए आंसर दिया जो भी
गुड.
उनको क्वेश्चन पूछा था. बट टीसीएस में क्वेश्चन इस तरह से पूछा गया था कि बहुत सारे एम्प्लॉइज का कंप्लेन है कि कंपलसरी उनको ऑफिस में आने के लिए बोला जा रहा है या उनका लोकेशन चेंज किया जा रहा है बिना उनको पूछे. तो वो आंसर में वो प्रॉपरली आंसर नहीं दे रहे थे, लाइक आना जरूरी है, वो उनके ही करियर के लिए अच्छा है, उस टाइप का आंसर उन्होंने दिया. बट जो वो दूसरा पार्ट था कि उनको जबरदस्ती लाया जा रहा है, तो उसके ऊपर उन्होंने बोला नो कमेंट्स टाइप.
ठीक है.
और इन्फोसिस में भी सेम टाइप का ही क्वेश्चन पूछा था, तो उन्होंने कुछ अलग ही आंसर दिया, लाइक रेवेन्यू टाइप आंसर दे रहे हैं वो, जो लिंक नहीं कर रहा था मुझे, या फिर बहुत फटाफट फटाफट आंसर दे रहे थे वो, टाइप
राइट.
ऑफ हाइडिंग समथिंग. तो
ओके.
मुझे एचसीएल बेटर लगा और इन्फोसिस सबसे कम लगा.
ओके. Fair. Thank you for all your inputs. Now, I'll tell you my perspective. I did not hear this con call, but other con calls I've heard. I found HCL to be the most open and Infosys to be the most closed. TCS somewhere in between. Okay. And I'm not trying to say that my perspective is right. You- what we all unanimously agree is TCS is the fact that HCL is relatively the most open company in terms of their communication. Do we agree to it?
Yes.
All of us, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So do you see how and how did you gauge all this? So that's the most interesting part. How did you gauge all this? Did you do some research here?
Looking at face.
Okay, looking at face, what else? So face reading is one skill to learn. Okay. Next.
ना पेशेंटली आंसर दे रहे हैं या फ्रस्ट्रेट हो रहे हैं,
Okay.
थोड़ा सा
Uh,
लगा वॉइस.
So the way of answering,
Yes.
frustrated or straightforward. Okay. Or who had a closed body language among all these? All the three? इसका बॉडी लैंग्वेज सबसे ज्यादा क्लोज था, ओपन दिखते हुए भी क्लोज था. अच्छा, सबसे ओपन
Infosys.
किसका था? सॉरी, इन्फोसिस का
Infosys
बॉडी
का-
लैंग्वेज क्लोज था.
Yes.
Even though they were sitting on chairs, the
Yes.
body language was completely closed. You see, shoulders were drooping,
Mm.
legs were crossed,
Yes.
hands were somewhere folded, not crossed like this, but somewhere like this, somewhere like this. You know,
Mm.
you could see that the body wasn't open.
Yes.
You agree, Shrikant?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So whereas HCL वाले में आपको क्या body language दिखा?
They were relaxed.
Yeah, I agree.
Agree,
Relax.
it's a- Right. He was sitting like this. Yeah, please tell me. So if I know, I'll answer. If I don't know, I'll not answer. Right? Right?
Yes.
That was a straightforward approach. You've got body language, you've got face reading, you've got the way they are answering. Does any one of you understand voice tones and voice modulation? That's also one aspect.
Yes, yes.
I tend to
And
look
the tone of TCS is very low actually when I compare to the other two.
Yes, you are 100% right. Tone wise, TCS is the worst. True. But if you put excessive weightage on tone alone. Had this been a on-call recording, your answer would have been bang on. know? That is why you should see one CNBC or Z News or Z Business, some interview of a person to figure out what kind of a body language, facial expression, way of answering the person has. Way of answering you get even from con calls. Right? Now, do you think understanding of this is going to help you in any way make better investment decisions?
Yes, if all three are
Yes.
apples and then all are having the same margins, example, okay, then
Sorry,
we are clear.
Shrikant, could
My-
you please?
Yeah, sorry. My point is yes, definitely yes. Example, if we are in a dilemma that example 3 companies are doing very well and they have good margins and what to invest, then we have a more clarity on which is better now.
Okay, that's correct. Okay. But I'll tell you what Warren Buffett says, this quote which goes like this, where he says, when a management with a great reputation meets a company with a horrible reputation, it is the reputation of the company that survives, or the business that survives, not company. Okay, this get tweaked. This ये चीज change हो जाती है जब आप इंडिया में आते हो. Listen to me very carefully. Why it changes is because Indian environment is highly unpredictable. The recent elections gave you the greatest googly that you people would have ever come across. Okay, the place where the temple was constructed, people were unhappy with the way the construction work or the urbanization of the place went on and they were not compensated fairly for it. Okay, and there was anger within them. Nobody took that factor into account. Even the best of the political analysts who were independent could not figure out that in UP, BJP could have a hard time. Do you think anybody figured that out before the results?
No.
No, right? But it happened, right? So surprises can come through, and you should always. Why I'm trying to tell you this is to make you understand that in India, the business operating environment is not a straight road or a clear runway where an aeroplane can take off on every road. Okay, it is a very volatile sort of an environment. You have places like Bombay Pune Express Highway where cars go at speed nothing less than 120, and you've got roads that are not even pakka, and cars cannot travel at even 20 kilometers per hour. So you see the variability that's there in the Indian operating ecosystem is high. Okay, so what I have morphed this quote into is when a great when a great, I mean, let's take a horse jockey and the race course. Okay, even if you have a great horse and the race course is not very good, I mean, it has potholes, you will still need a above average jockey to make your horse run and win. Do you agree to it?
Yes.
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 So what I'm trying to tell you that irrespective of whether you've shortlisted 3 companies, whether you're looking at whichever segment that you're looking at or a sector you're looking at, in India, management becomes a really important factor simply because of the operating environment. Yes, at some places you don't need stratospheric management ability. You just need above average management ability. You cannot work in India with below average management ability. Okay. So always look for good management. And one of the key aspects of good management is candid communication. What do I mean by candid communication? Being very clear, transparent in their communication. Okay. I'll share my screen now and we'll go through the presentation. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. So now I hope you understood the importance of management quality in a variable environment, highly variable environment. Okay. Now let's go and see the aspects of management, evaluating management quality. The first and foremost thing is integrity. Integrity, what do we understand by integrity, guys? What do you understand by the word integrity? Integrity से आप क्या समझते हो? Come on. What do you understand by the term integrity?
Honesty.
Okay. Honesty is one component of integrity. It's
Principle,
considered to be a synonym, but it is not actually a synonym.
Mm.
Yes.
principle, following principles.
Yeah. Following
Yeah,
principles.
ethical.
Great. Pranay, what do you think? What is integrity?
Trust or fairness,
Sorry, trust and
fairness in their
exactly fairness. Fairness is another dimension. If I were to pick the best quote that I have heard about integrity, I would pick the quote which says, integrity is doing something right even when nobody is watching. Okay. What is right depends on, I mean, should not be right only for you as a majority shareholder, but should be right for every shareholder, including minority shareholder. and doing things ethically. Now, does it mean that okay, we stay in a country? So if you ask, if you go follow Warren Buffett, integrity wise, you will end up rejecting almost every company that operates in India. You will probably have no other company left. Until Narayan Murthy was there, you could probably say Infosys. That too was an inflated opinion. Okay, so integrity is very similar to law. Okay, law is similar across countries with minor variations, but implementation of the law varies depending on which country you are in. Maybe in the US, the implementation is very strict, and in India, the implementation is relatively relaxed. Similarly, integrity is not to say that I don't mean to say that in US a management would not go ahead and do something wrong for the minority shareholder, but in India it would, and you should accept it. No, there are dimensions of integrity that are sort of accepted because we live in India, which has a different operating environment. Okay. For example, if a business wants to get a set of vehicles registered and they operate in Maharashtra, they don't do it in Mumbai. They have their head office in Mumbai. They don't do it in Mumbai, but they do it in Navi Mumbai so that they pay less taxes. Now, is that questionable integrity or is it jugaad in India?
Jugaad.
Do you see the difference? But if you were to pick US, you would say a different thing, right?
Yes.
So you have to understand the ground reality and do things accordingly. Shrikant, are you appreciating this aspect?
Yes, correct. But I just want to ask, maybe you will cover it, but how can we identify it? It's a big thing.
Yeah, that's very true. It's not, when we go ahead and identify, we look at symptoms and try to say that the source is fine. Okay, we look at the outcomes based on actions. We look at past behavior. We say the intention behind the behavior would be fine because the outcome is right. Okay, if a majority shareholder is making money at the expense of minority shareholder exorbitantly, that is completely non-acceptable. But in India, a majority shareholder ensuring that their son, daughter, son-in-law, wife is gainfully employed in the same company, do you think it is acceptable or non-acceptable?
Non-acceptable.
It is non-acceptable. But in quite a lot of profitable companies, you'll find all that happening. You'll find those companies running fine. See, any majority shareholder is going to take some benefit in some way or the other. You will not always find a Sanjeev Bikhchandani who goes out for a consulting assignment. Sanjeev Bikhchandani is the founder of InfoEdge India. He goes out for a consulting assignment, and when people ask him how much should we pay you, he gives the account number of InfoEdge India and says that my time belongs to the company. How many people are you going to find like that? Or how many people are you going to find like Narayan Murthy? You're not going to find many, right?
Right.
Right. In India, all these businesses, the ones that we are talking about, start with a family doing extreme hardship, taking extremely hard short-term decisions so that they get high payoff in the long run. So I'm not saying it is acceptable. All I'm saying is you have to ask for every case what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Okay.
Okay.
Shrikant, does that make sense?
Yes, yes, got it.
I'll tell you an example where I rejected something like that. It was Aditya Vision, an electronics and electrical retailer in the eastern side of India. Started from Patna and he has grown. Okay. His background is he was working with Punjab National Bank for good 18 years and then started this retail and has done really well, has scaled very well. The stock price has appreciated like crazy. You can just go and check. If you see, you will find his wife, his he doesn't have a son, he has two daughters, I guess. Both the daughters, both the son-in-laws gainfully employed, earning probably 5-6 lakhs a month. Uh, I said, that's not right. And I left it. That's a call that I took. Okay. Whereas, similar scenario, I'll tell you. So, Mrs. Bector Food Specialties has Mr. Anup Bector as the director, has a lot of subsidiaries because it has been operating for a long time and the brand names are owned by those subsidiaries or sister concerns and royalties are being paid to those companies, which is again a gray area. Yeah, and I would consider that darker shade of gray. At the same time, he hired a CEO called Mr. Manu Talwar and still remains the managing director. So Mr. Manu Talwar's salary is over and above the MD's salary, and MD has not foregone any salary. Now, that also is a darker shade of gray. But I chose to oversee it and said, okay, let's go ahead and take it. His wife also is gainfully employed in the business. His sons, both are gainfully employed in the business, and all of them earn decent money. Okay. It would at least one of them, if not all, you could come and question, what are they doing to earn the kind of money that they're earning? They're doing nothing, but they are part of the controlling shareholding family, right? And they're doing it. I went ahead and bet on it, but I did not do it for Aditya Vision. So that's a call that I took. Those are essentially both are the same things. It's just that India is a patriarchal society, and I chose to say, okay, 2 sons is fine, but 2 daughters and 2 son-in-laws, that's something that I personally have a emotional negative opinion against. You should not be doing that sort of for me. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying what I did. Okay. These are 2 scenarios. I'm bringing this in front of you so that you understand that even the same scenario could be different if the context is different. Pranesh, Shrikant, Hiral, what do you think?
Right.
Yes, yes, right.
Did you understand the spectrum of how I'm thinking? There are certain things that I will say strict no to, and there are certain things that I'll accept. It's up to me. I am the batsman, and I'll say which ball I'm going to hit and which ball I'm not going to hit. In terms of integrity, you should have that. Okay? And you should have non-negotiable parameters where you will say that no matter go against this. So Aditya Vision, this company, I saw it earlier, not very early, probably when it was in 1200, 1400 range. And then one senior investor who has a large portfolio discussed the same with me, and he is kind of a persuasive person. He's like, you also buy, you also buy. And I said, you know what? And the stock had doubled by then. I said, no matter what, I'm never going to buy that. So for me, some things are non-negotiable. I'll not do it. Okay. I suggest you also have a list of non-negotiables for you. What is negotiable? What is non-negotiable? Okay. Why did I do it for Bector? My rationale is that at least 2 sons are there. Even if the business gets divided, they have got bread, listed business, and they have an upcoming QSR chain coming up. So they will have decent business split, even if it splits into two companies, and there'll be some value unlocking at some point in time, probably 30 years from now. If I hold for that, which is my dream. Okay. But with daughters, daughters can be involved because it's their father's creation, but ultimately women in India tend to give away control at later stage of their life to men in the house, and son-in-laws are not very likely to have the same opinion, is what I've seen practically. Maybe I'm biased because of my experience, but yeah, that's what my thought process was. Moving on, is the management candid in its communication? You all just saw a practical example of that. Is the management's incentive aligned with the shareholders' incentive? That's really important. You got to ask this. So how do I ensure this? How, Pranay, tell me how I ensure this. You know it better. I've been discussing with you for a long time. How do I ensure that management's incentive is aligned with my incentive? I look at one parameter and I tend to reject a lot of companies that you send.
50 shareholding pattern.
Okay.
It should
That
be.
is why I do it.
Yeah.
You know what? Because अगर बम फटेगा तो उसके साथ भी फटना चाहिए.
Right.
अगर उसके पीछे बम लगा हुआ है ना, तो उसकी गोदी में मैं बैठ सकता हूँ, क्योंकि फटेगा तो उसका पीछे भी फटेगा ना.
Yes.
Right? So under his chair there has to be a bomb. Only then can I sit on his lap. I mean, that's a parlance or a simile. That's just to give you an idea. You cannot sit in a person's car unless he's driving the car or he's in the car. I would, unless I know if I don't know the person for long, I would want the person to be in the car. मरेगा तो वो भी मरेगा ना. मेरे जिंदा रहने के chances हैं. He's not going to play against his own life. And I would probably want him to be sitting on the same side of the car. If he's driving, I'm going to sit on his side. On the other side, he could bash me. So that's how I tend to ensure incentive alignment. I also look at pay and incentive pay and sort of what kind of investment, how much. I also look at one more thing when it comes to alignment of incentive. Okay. Does the promoter group love the name or the brand, and the brand is owned by the company so much that it is equivalent to their reputation? If that thing goes, they go. You getting it?
तो ये कैसे पता चलेगा अपने को?
Good question. कैसे पता चलेगा बताओ? I was waiting for someone to ask this question. कैसे पता चलेगा? सोचो इसके बारे, ठीक है? We'll come to this. Then comes, is the management a rational capital allocator? Is the management allocating capital that it is retaining into businesses that are high return generating, mostly into itself? The best business is one that can reinvest new capital or retained capital in the same business at a very high reinvestment rate. When Coca-Cola, let's take the example of Coca-Cola in US. When Coca-Cola was done expanding nationally in the US, what they did next was acquired their own bottlers. Why do you think that they did that? Why do you think they did the acquisition of their own bottlers?
It's backward integration, or the whatever the expense, they want to own it.
Okay. So is it rational capital allocation or not?
Yeah, it's part of
I mean, it's the next
it improves the business profit, obviously.
one. It improves the business profit in terms of efficiency. Also, it is the most predictable way to uh, have a high return on capital. Maybe not as high as it used to get by investing in its own business and expanding nationally, but the next best, most predictable one. I mean, it's almost 100% certain that if they own their own bottlers, they'll be able to generate better value, right?
Also,
Yes,
there'll
right.
be no bargaining power.
Sorry. Yeah, there'll be no bargaining power. Second, खुद बॉटलिंग किया तो सस्ते में बॉटल बनाएगा और बॉटल का भी पैसा कमाएगा और खुद ही रखेगा, राइट?
Right, right.
Yes.
Also, if there are any competitors in the market, so that can also help them. Just like I think I would just read a case some back. Colgate used to have
So
Colgate or some brand used to have packaging of their own, and they used to hoard it, and uh, they used to not give to their competitors for packaging. I think.
right, you that's another way of looking at it. But there is another example where Sam's Club, which was a wholesale for Walmart, uh, got itself uh, deal. I mean, out of the clutches of Walmart and got itself listed as a separate entity so that it could expand its business. So these are two business strategies. You're getting it. What when you're doing and why you're doing is important. So the intention behind your action is more important than your action. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Examples of
Yes.
sorry. Yes, Hirar.
कुछ नहीं है, correct है सब.
Fair enough. अच्छा. Irrational capital allocation के examples अगर ले तो when you think of Mr. Vijay Mallya, he had the best money generating machine Kingfisher in his world, right? Royal Challengers, Kingfisher, the liquor company. Do you think you make decent returns, good returns, out of the world returns in liquor? Or you make bad returns?
I think it's good returns.
You make out of the world returns in liquor. Okay. Even after a lot of money that goes away because of leakages that happen here and there in the business, you still mint money. It's a money minting machine. From that, he took out capital and he put capital in an airline business. Do you think airline return wise, expected return wise, is a good return, great return, out of the world return, bad return, pathetic return? What kind of business?
There are very less companies they have
That
generated profits from airline. There are
Correct. And the
Maximum
strategy
one.
that he was following. Sorry, Shikan.
No, I mean to say every country maximum one or maximum two are profitable. Other all are already on loss making.
Correct. And his strategy was not volume oriented, but value oriented by getting great air hostesses. Okay. At least that's what I understand. Okay. So that was an example of pathetic capital allocation. Okay. Now we all know about car batteries. When you think of car batteries in India, which company comes to your mind?
Exide Amara Raja
Exide.
batteries.
Exide or Amara.
Exide is the first one. ठीक है. Exide ने अपने बैटरी बिजनेस से पैसा निकाल के किस बिजनेस में डाला था पता है?
Insurance.
Correct. Was that? I mean, yes, you could. Insurance is an amazing business if you have the brains to sort of manage it and run it. But you venturing into a totally new industry, irrespective of how great you are, which is unrelated, is a red flag. Okay. Anybody going and buying a sports team is a red flag. Say, for example, Venky's was making decent returns with chickens and eggs. What did they go and do? Any idea? They went and bought a football team. That's owner doing something which is highly risky for the company, especially for the minority shareholder. If it was a private company, he can do whatever he wants, and we don't have a problem, right? Then comes, is the management capable of resisting the herd mentality? Do you think it is important to not follow the trend and do things that are okay, that are against the herd or that are not with the herd? Do you think it is important as a trait? Is not following the herd important in business?
Yes.
It's the most important thing in business. Why? I'll tell you. Everybody today, as an investor, wants their hands on the next tech best thing like EV or AI or data science or machine learning or name it, the advanced technology or hydrogen or whatever. Yeah, that's where the herd is going. History tells us that whenever you try to go, whenever a new technology comes in, the first set of stakeholders, when I say stakeholders, it includes customers, suppliers, competitors, uh, substitutes, and yourself, and the shareholders of the company that is being referred to. The only stakeholder that benefits whenever a new technology comes in is who? Who is the stakeholder who benefits when a new technology comes in? Who benefited when Jio came in and launched a new telecom technology?
Customer.
Yes,
Customers.
please remember in life, every time a new technology comes in the market, the customer is going to mint money. Okay, till the business operating environment stabilizes. Okay, change is not the friend of business. Change in processes is a friend of business. Change in procedures is a friend of business. Change in the product itself is an enemy of the business. Shrikant, when you were probably in college, did people click pictures? How people click pictures back then?
No, no, we used to have a camera.
Yeah, you had Kodak, which was a big thing, right?
Yeah, correct.
All of you, Hiral, Pranay, myself, we remember Kodak shops being there in every tourist destination that our family went out for. Remember?
Yes.
Yes. Do you see Kodak now?
No.
No.
What happened?
Mobile, cell phone,
Technology.
smartphone.
Change is the enemy of business if it impacts the product or the output itself. If it is improving the manufacturing process, good. If it is improving the distribution process, you need to see. If it is improving the supply chain process, you need to see. If it is sort of improving the management reporting process, good. But if it is substituting one product with another, boss, there was an era of CDs between cassettes and uh, cloud or pen drive, I would say. Pen drive also is perishing these days, right? Or hard disk. There was an era, right? How quickly they came, how much they were in hype, and are they even there today?
Hardly.
No,
Change.
even laptop also doesn't allow.
Sorry.
Nowadays, no laptops also no CD drive.
Exactly. I mean, that's how change, if it is, please remember where change is an absolute danger. Always look for boring companies, all boring industries, industries where change is happening the least. Do you think internet is ever going to put food in your mouth?
No.
Waiting.
No.
I'm waiting for that day, right? It might change the way food is being distributed. Earlier, you used to go to restaurant, take a parcel. Today, you've got Swiggy, Zomato, right? But the food is the same, essentially. The process of manufacturing has changed in some way or the other. The ingredients have changed in some way or the other. But essentially, the product hasn't changed. In the cloth market, has the product changed since the last 100 years? In the last 100 years or 50 years, let's say 50 years, has the product cloth changed in the last 50 years?
No.
It has.
Okay. Cloth.
I mean, 50 years ago, it was pure cotton,
Okay,
mostly.
like that.
Today, you've got polyester. Most
Mixing.
of the cloth that gets sold, at least for men, is polyester driven. Do you agree? And it's cheap, and only that is cheap. Pure cotton linen is considered to be a luxury today. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
Go to a Telugu wedding, you will see men wearing pure white shirt, and a lot of people who don't know the culture would say, you know, what these guys keep wearing white shirts. But it's the quality of the shirt that they're wearing, right, Shrikant?
Yeah, I agree.
So, things change. Look for things that don't change as much. Okay, so that's business analysis. But yeah, I thought I'll cover it. So hence, resisting the herd mentality is really important. So, I mean, can you think of an example uh, when a management has resisted herd mentality and made money, shitloads of money?
No, like what I know is when Warren, right, in 2000, a lot of people bought technology companies,
Mhm.
but Warren they have
Correct.
just excluded those all the bets on technology.
Correct. So that's the business of investing, where Warren Buffett encashed because he did not go ahead and follow the herd. What about operating businesses where they have not gone ahead and done what all the peers are doing and still made money? Can you think of a business, a real life example of a business? Okay. How many of you know the brand Ujala, Char Bundo Wala?
Yes.
Yeah.
We all know Ujala, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know how Ujala was distributed in its initial days when the shelf space in shops was hijacked literally by the who's who of the FMCG market. It was sold through women who were needy, especially widows or women who really wanted to earn money, or people who really wanted to earn money. And that's how the distribution of Ujala started off before it came to uh, the forefront. So that was going against the herd, where any whitening company or whitening manufacturer would try to undercut rates and put its thing on the shelf. These people followed a different approach. The car air freshener market initially was all distributed through supermarkets in India. You know what Godrej did with Ambipure for car purifiers? Did they sell it? They flipped and they did something against the herd. Do you know what they did? They sold it through car showrooms and car dealerships where people went to buy and service their cars. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I got a few more examples like this.
Yes.
Maybe Asian Paints, they have a dealers, and then they have, I think,
Right.
Something like a mix, some device.
Tinting machine. It's called
Yeah.
tinting machine.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that is one thing, and also Astral, I guess, or something. They are
Right.
also the plumbers wherever they are like a friendly with the. I mean, they have a group of plumbers who are benefiting when they sell this products.
Right.
Something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. Great examples. So that is why you should look for people who do not go straight with the herd. If you go and tell HDFC Bank, why don't you just increase your deposit rates? Kotak is offering 6%. When Kotak started offering 6%, did HDFC offer 6% when Kotak was offering 6%? A lot of people started doing that. Kotak, HDFC did not. Why? And back then Aditya Puri was there. Why? They could have done that. They could have played the competition game. Why didn't they do it? Why didn't they follow that strategy?
They already had the corporate accounts, first of all.
What about individual accounts? They could have done it for individual accounts, right?
Also, there is trust and belief with HDFC.
Right. So doing that would only increase their cost rate. They said no. They chose not to do it. They didn't go with the herd alone. Right. I'll tell you another example that the promoter of Hudson Agro Products keeps telling in his speeches. In 1993, when Hindustan Unilever bought quality from the so well-known husband of Dolly Khanna, the famous investor, whose name is Mr. Rajiv Khanna. Rajiv Khanna was a friend of Mr. Chandramogan, and he suggested Mr. Chandramogan to sell his business off to Hindustan Unilever and just move out, because everybody was doing that, and Quality did that. His company had done that, and that was the initial capital that he put and invested, which you see today being 1,000 crores plus in the Indian markets. So you know what Chandramogan said? I started with 15,000 rupees in 1970s. When I get back to 15,000 rupees, I'll think about selling it. Till then, I'll operate my business. He went against the herd. Okay. There was another decision that he took in 1995 that was going against the herd. He was a pure ice cream manufacturer manufacturing Arun ice cream alone. When everybody was trying to source milk predictably and cheaply from vendors, bulk vendors, he got into the milk collection business, which was way lower margin business and high turnover business, for which he had no training for. Now that's again, you could question that it is not rational capital allocation, and I would say yes. I would have said yes to it at that point in time, but in hindsight, I'm telling you that was going against the herd and establishing his own distribution network. Today, he runs the largest private dairy in the country. Okay, so those are examples for you. Okay, now coming to hiring people. Whenever it comes to hiring people, Warren Buffett says, you should hire someone who has integrity, intelligence, and energy, all of them together. If he has any of the parameters less, it could be disastrous. If he has energy and intelligence but doesn't have integrity, he's going to steal, right? If he has energy and integrity but doesn't have intelligence, he's just another worker. I'm talking about management, okay? If he has intelligence and integrity but not energy, he's going to find ways to do things in a sloppy manner because he's lazy, right?
Yes.
So we all come across people with intersections of any of these three in various combinations. And I can bet that when you find a person having all three together, that's a superhuman. I mean, super manager. Have you come across anyone like that in your life? Bar yourself from contesting. How many of you have come across anyone like that, be it in management or in your friend circle or in your relatives or family, whatever? Integrity, intelligence, and energy.
Darshak.
Yeah, great. I agree. I agree on that. What do you think, Pranay? Have you come across anyone, be it management of a company or friends, family, anyone?
Little bit.
Okay, little bit. So, great. Srikanth, what about you?
No, maybe Narayana Murthy, as far as I'm aware.
Great. Yes, Narayan Murthy is a great example. He did that. So, but you will come across such people in maybe not as intense as Narayan Murthy, but you will come across such people a lot. I can tell you that, I in my previous corporate role, I was involved in leadership training, and people would, the senior management would come and expect that, Shrey, after the training, we are expecting that this guy becomes a horse from a donkey. So I always used to say, I mean, they didn't say horse and donkey; those are my words. I always used to say, a donkey can become a mule, but not a horse. Horses are born. Okay. No matter what who says, horses are born. Similarly, great management, you see those traits right from the beginning. They'll have couple of things, maybe one lacking a little, but they'll have all of them in some in varying parameters. I mean, varying degrees. So you should always look for people with these parameters. And how do you go about figuring out whether the person has integrity or not? Look at their past action. Look at whether their past action aligns with integrity. Have they demonstrated integrity in their behavior? Have they demonstrated intelligence and energy in their behavior? You will have to read about them, not just in annual reports, phone calls, but beyond that. And you will find literature. If you can't find literature, you should go meet them. You should figure out how do you work, how often do you work, kitna kaam karte ho. You'll have to ask the right questions, and sometimes you will not have the answers. You should just leave those companies or management aside. But only when you have clear answer on integrity on these parameters should you go ahead. All of you, do you have an idea how you're going to identify the traits of integrity, intelligence, and energy from past behavior and track record by reading about them or meeting the people or talking to people about them? Did you get a hang of it, guys? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
Kiran?
Yes.
See, it's what about you, Shrikant?
Yeah, got it.
See, don't make management a big thing, okay? If you want to figure out which of your colleague is the most high potential guy, you will find all these parameters together overlapping in that person who's going to do something genuinely great in life. Okay, I'm not talking about the donkey who's only going to uh, get the next big promotion and lick better boots. No, I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about someone who's going to really pull it off in their life. So when you talk to people, when when you talk among your colleagues and you ask the right questions, do you think you can get to answers which will help you ascertain, okay, this guy is like this?
Yes.
You can, right? Pranay?
Yes.
Right. Pranay, we both know a person who was high on integrity and relatively high on intelligence, but did not have the energy. Or,
Ravi.
I mean, he was high on integrity and energy, but did not have the intelligence, I would say. I mean,
Ravi was in.
I was talking about him only, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
never mind.
So Anil,
Yeah,
Anil was one of them.
yeah, he has all the three, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
He used to come with us also to play.
Exactly. Right. Do you remember Ankit Dharamshi?
Yeah, yeah. So
He has all.
I haven't worked a lot with him.
Yeah, he has all the three.
Okay.
Would you say that about for any of the leaders that are there in that level in the data ops?
No. Currently.
Never, right? You could say none of them have none of the parameters,
Yes.
right? There are many who have none of the parameters, and there are some who have it. Okay, irrespective of where they are in the hierarchy, whether they are a janitor or the CEO, if somebody has this, bloody hell, they are a gold mine. Okay,
Yes.
so work on developing that for yourself, and only then you will find great management. We'll never be 100% there, but we can always try to improve ourselves as people, right?
Yes.
Okay. Integrity, we discussed about any demonstrated behavior where it could take advantage of its ecosystem yet chooses to work for collective good even at expense of short-term profitability is one acid test. Any demonstrated behavior where the person could have taken amazing advantage of the ecosystem but yet chooses not to do it but works for the collective benefit at the expense of short-term profitability. That's one clear sign of integrity. That's an acid test. You can come up with more, okay, and let me know also. I mean, I would like to improve my own self, so please tell me. Integrity, like Srikant said, Narayan Murthy, Sanjeev Bikhchandani, InfoEdge, RG Chandramohan. Why RG Chandramohan? I'll tell you another story of his. He started with a helper, and that helper wasn't qualified, probably not even educated, and that he made sure that he gave him grants in terms of shareholding that were way beyond he could have achieved as a person, just because he was there as the support in the beginning. So right people, being associated with the right people, you don't have to worry, Are I've given whether I'm going to be fairly treated in the whole bargain or not. Okay. if the person is right, has integrity, energy, and intelligence, you know that they're going to treat you right sooner or later. You will not be duped, right?
Yes.
Yes. Is the management candid in its communication? So I have a metric. The first one is called walk the talk. Here is the picture. I would give you a minute to read it, and you tell me what you understand of it. If I ask you, how do you figure out whether to trust a person or not? How do you do it subconsciously? Do you do this or not?
Yes.
When people say a lot and don't do much, they are not to be trusted. When
Correct.
people say less, do more, that's another breed. Okay. When people do what they say, that's where trust gets built. Srikant, Pranay, you agree?
Yes, yes.
So this is the walk the talk metric that you can use for evaluating management. Srikant, are you there?
Yes, yes. I think there is some network issue, but yeah, I'm there.
Cool, cool. You got it right.
Yes, I got it. I got it.
Okay. So this is an asset test. This is not just for management, for your friends, family, relative, koi bhi. Just look at what they say, what they do. Okay. Over a 6-month period, if they say something and they don't follow it up with action, clear, not trustworthy people. Okay. Don't leave a rupee with them. Okay. But I mean, those are people from whom you should take advance payment, or else they'll vanish. Okay. Moving on. They proactively share bad news. What is the sign of a candid management? They do not shy away from sharing bad news. They'll proactively come and tell you, this is wrong with us. If you go through Ashiana Housing, it's a real estate company. A couple of years ago, there was a fraud in the eastern part of India where they proactively came and shared about it. It wasn't of a great magnitude, probably 2, 3, 5 crores, which they could have easily put it under the rug and everything would have been fine. But they didn't do it. They came out, told it, because of which they had a drop in the share price, but they were okay with it. That's how you do it. Okay. And anybody who tells you, we hear a lot of friends telling us when they emotionally blackmail us, क्या यार तू मेरे पे भरोसा नहीं करता है क्या? Or come on यार, don't you trust me? Trust is not uh, a static stuff. When you're talking business, trust is not static. Trust is dynamic. You have to keep evaluating someone. Only then you know that you're going to trust them. Now, I'm not asking you to do it with your spouse. Okay, that's a separate issue. There, if you do so much, you're not going to get dinner. So don't do all that. Okay. Next comes accept responsibility. A good management who's candid in their communication and is high on integrity will accept the responsibility for a failure. How often do you come across people out of 100%? What percentage of leaders that you have worked with in your life have accepted responsibility for failure of the team, and how many of them have blamed the team members or external?
Blame the team members.
Yeah, that makes sure that they are not going to go above a certain level, right?
Right.
What percentage of people have you come across who will take responsibility themselves even if it is not their fault?
Nobody. I have not come across anyone.
Pranay, have you come across anyone? Pranay Shrikant. Okay,
Yeah,
anybody.
No.
Sorry, Shrikant.
Yeah, I've seen some managers, and then those are all like role models. Most of the time, I also accept most of the time, it's not my mistake. But yeah, I have come to.
Lovely.
in my-
You're fortunate. Those are individuals to treasure in life. No matter what their behavior is, you should treasure them. They're amazing folks. Pranay,
Jigar used to do some.
sorry,
Jigar Saya used to do.
what accepts responsibility?
Sometimes he has gained the trust also. Used to do for the team. He used to fight for the team.
That's lovely. That makes him a
Yeah.
good manager.
Yeah.
You know, that's one parameter you look at when you're evaluating a management. So
Yes.
next time, whenever you see a management talking and they say, the economy was bad, so we are bad, all that anybody says, no, what you should do. Yeah, in a cyclical company, probably you would understand. And even with that, they would accept certain mistakes of their own. Good management. But bad ones will tell you, the environment is bad, this is bad, that is bad. We come across so many people, especially in the senior management part, who will tell, it's your fault, it's not my fault, because a few things happen, right? That makes sure that they never cross middle management, or if they are lucky, they get into senior management, but they stay stagnant after that. Great managers don't do that. Did you understand how to check management on in the way they are talking in con calls, annual report, and interviews on these parameters?
Yes.
Yes.
Chalo. Great. Okay. Examples of management candid in its communication. Recently, Kotak Mahindra Bank proactively came and shared that, we have got an RBI sanction, or RBI made it public. Kotak did it itself, right? Pranay?
Yes.
Regarding the IT, right? Information technology issue.
Yeah. There were
Okay.
some glitches because of
Yeah.
which they were barred from onboarding digital customers digitally, and they were barred from issuing new credit cards. That all is gone now. It's clear. Any other example that you can think of where the management was candid in its communication? One of the greatest example is Warren Buffett. He talks candidly in his annual reports. That's your standard for candidness. But don't try to keep it standard for everything, or else you'll not find companies in India to invest. Any examples that you can think of? Okay. I can
Dhirubhai
think
used to
of,
do. I think
sorry.
Dhirubhai used to do. But
Dhirubhai was an amazing orator. So I'm not sure. I've not been in his era, so I can't say for sure. But he was an amazing person, an amazing orator. I'll tell you an example from cricket, where a captain proactively came and accepted that he was involved in fixing. And later he was killed in a plane crash. Do you remember his name?
Hansi Crony.
Yeah. He's my favorite captain. He was not because he did that alone, but he was very good as a captain, very very good. And I was mighty shocked to find out that he was involved in fixing. Okay, So you can find your own examples in management communication. We have discussed enough. Is the management rational in allocating capital? Does it reinvest the capital that it retains? Does it give dividends or does it buy back? What kind of capex does it do? Inorganic or organic? Does it go for acquisition or reinvest in its own business? If it is going organically or inorganically into another business, is it in its adjacent territory like bread, butter, chai, coffee, chai biscuit? Or is it going into from chai to liquor? So you have to ask these questions. And the closer he is, the more likely he's going to succeed. Bread, biscuit, possible, right? Bread, sauces, plausible, right? Making bread and trying and doing life insurance, not possible. I mean, very rare. Similarly, ice cream, milk, plausible, not very possible, plausible. You got it, guys?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Is the management capable of resisting herd mentality? Are they mindlessly chasing growth or are they going for profitable growth? Okay. There are managements who just want to increase their sales because they want to increase the size of the business so that they can have a fat paycheck. Are they that kind of management or they want to grow profitably? If you hear Mrs. Bector Food Specialties con calls or read through the con call transcripts, which one will you find them? Mindlessly chasing growth or profitable growth? Srikant, Pranay, both of you did this company. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
So, did they mindlessly chase scale or are they targeting profitable growth?
Profitable growth.
They are clearly saying it. And that's why they keep saying mid-teens, 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 right?
Yes.
Okay. Are they trend follower or trend setter? Who's a trend follower and who's a trend setter? Eicher Motors Bullet is a trend setter, whereas probably somebody trying to make another Hero Honda is a trend follower. Till the old TCS, old TVS, or the old Bajaj before Pulsar came out was a trend follower. When Pulsar came in, it was a trend setter. Discovered ETSI, it was a trend setter. Is the company over leveraging or prudent in terms of leveraging? You got to ask. Over leveraging का मतलब over borrowing and prudent का मतलब judiciously borrowing. बिल्कुल borrow नहीं करे वैसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए. So Mrs. Bector Food Specialty earlier was a over leverager or prudent leverager or under leverager. Pranay and Srikant, even today, are they leveraging enough or not?
They are leveraging.
They're leveraging now. Earlier, if you see, they were under leveraging.
Yes.
If you look at Hatsun, Hatsun is an over leverager. It has always taken more risk, and that brings in risk. You should remember that always. Are they conventional or non-conventional? Are they traditional in their ways or completely unorthodox in their ways? क्या वो कन्वेंशन को फॉलो करते हैं या एकदम आउट ऑफ द ब्लू नया चीज करते हैं? Non-conventional would be someone like Tesla and conventional would be someone like Tata. Right? That's just an extreme example, but yeah. Okay. We discussed the management capable of resisting herd mentality. Okay. This is what Buffett said, and I told you another quote for this, right? So that's all that I had for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll cover what we had in the last session, or we'll do it in the next session. I would want you uh, to cover management, evaluating management quality as well for all the 3 companies that you have done in the next session. Would that be possible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Right? Will you be able to implement the questions? I'm not looking for right answers. I'm looking for your opinion and your thinking. More than your opinions, you got to think in that direction. Okay. सही गलत छोड़ दो, कोशिश करो. Please complete all 3 next time.
Yes.
Yes.
And I suggested you a book which is Understanding Michael Porter. Please read it. It is very important for business analysis. I hope you have ordered it already. The Kindle copy is relatively affordable compared to the normal copy. You can go ahead and order it if you haven't ordered already. It's one of the best books that you will read. माइकल पोर्टर का पढ़ा लिखा हुआ अगर पढ़ोगे तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, बट इसका पढ़ोगे तो समझ में आएगा. I can assure you on that. Even I will try and read this book again this time, and we'll have a discussion next time. Probably, even if you want to take 2 weeks, take 2 weeks to read the book, but do read it. हो पाएगा? Will you be able to do it?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, I did always.
So 2 weeks from now, we'll discuss that book. And next week, we'll discuss, for those of you who haven't got a chance to answer business analysis part, business analysis plus evaluating management analysis for at least 3 companies. If you can do more companies, I'll be more than happy if you do it. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Any questions anyone has, I'll be happy to answer. Please feel free to ask.